them come. This is their fate.
Birdman hands. Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we got quite a bit to talk about, actually, and it's going to be a lot. So buckle in, get your drinks. Whatever you're going to do, if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So before we get started, as usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going. Inform the people of your week.
Yeah, I'll go first. It's been a pretty good week. A lot of changes going on. Started a new job, which I'll tell you about later, but nothing like special. But because of that, everybody's schedule is changing, and we got a 1-year-old, and so we're trying to think about what type of daycare we're gonna be doing, because it's gonna be a little bit harder schedules. But yeah, finding like a daycare and preschool is a lot of work, because one, you won't get the best service, of course, but also preparing your kid for preschool, like shots and not potty training, but like their behavior, like how is your kid actually going to behave when they're around a bunch of other kids and people. So it's been a lot to think about, being a parent. Other than that, every now and then try to get home after work, play some games. Mostly been playing Call of Duty still. Trying to unlock all these guns. That's been a grind on its own.
Yep.
But it's a good time. I've been looking at a lot of other games because I'm not playing any single player games right now. So I was trying to figure out what to get. I was going to pick up Cyberpunk last night, but still feel like that's the game that's going to be not too big, but I want to put a lot of time into it, and I feel like I'm going to be distracted right now. I might find something else.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's not like it's hard to choose. I mean, it's not like there are no good games to choose from. It's just too many.
Yeah, I
don't want to give everybody a fair shake.
That's for sure is a problem. It is literally too many. But yeah, I think something to think about is probably playing some of those older ones. Like, I know you probably already beat Guardians of the Galaxy, but signed to something like 10 hours, 15 hours of that of that caliber, and going through that, maybe even Spider-Man if you wanted to try that. But that game's still $30. I'm trying to wait for that thing to be $10 on PC, and then I pick it up the remaster version. But there's some options out there, I guess, that fall into that category. Even going back and playing the Arkham series, I like doing that too. There's plenty of stuff to do that. But yeah, okay. So you've been chilling. I know the baby stuff is tough, and that is a big thing on our minds as well. But what about you, Jalen? You babyless man? I keep calling you that, the babyless man. How's your week go, and what you been up to?
Shoot, my week, not a whole lot, man. I mean, just the same old, being a babyless person.
That's a good time. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's a good time. That's a good goddamn time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been in that lifestyle, so I just take your opinion. You got more wisdom in that round.
Yeah, I think I did both. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But shoot, I mean, nothing real specific. As far as like things I've been doing, I mean, me and my mom, we had went to Philly. It's kind of cool. We had like a little remote meetup or whatever. I ain't never really got to do something like that. My mom 1-on-1, so it is kind of cool. She stayed like 2 hours from Philly or something like that, hour and a half. So she drove up there. And then I had flew up there. I found like a real cheap flight or whatever. So I was like, I mean, I ain't never been to Philly, and let me tell you, this place called Green Egg Green Egg Cafe, green eggs and ham, Sam I am. I will not eat no green eggs and ham. Whatever they say in that book.
Yep.
Nah, but the place called Green Egg Cafe. Hey, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. That little apple pie French toast little do that thingy thing they had going on in that mug. I'm like, man, this is incredible, bro. This probably some of the best breakfast I had. I was an adult. Like that junk was hitting, bro.
I didn't even hear the sound effect. It kind of faded out. But yeah, no, I'm assuming it was delicious.
Yeah, no, that it definitely el delicioso. You know what I'm saying? Then they had these little apple mimosa things that went like, you know what I'm saying, little fall time. Y'all know the apples and this sort of apple cider mimosa.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we had to ask Shorty in there. She, you know, she was a little more cultured. I was like, hey man, what y'all put in these, man? Like, I need the recipe. She said, I got y'all. Wrote that junk down, folded in a piece of paper, and slid it to us. I'm looking here like, hey, gave us the recipe. I'm gonna see if I can make it. They had the little man. That junk was just fire, bro. But enough about it. It's not a food podcast. So, but hey, overall, it's a good time. Me and my mom enjoyed ourselves. You know, it was a cool little bonding time. In the midst of, y'all know, I'll be on a lot of fights and stuff. So I was trying to figure out which games to play.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I've been playing Overwatch. But I was trying out Hyper Light Drifter, and then I was actually able to finish playing Sea of Stars too. So those are some of the games I've been playing. They trying to get me to play Call of Duty, man. I mean, y'all need y'all to save me. Y'all listening.
It's already there. It's already happening.
Jalen want to play indie games. He don't play AAA games somewhere.
SOS, I need help. I need help.
This is my call. Losing 6, bleach. Not just like, but yeah. So, but that's that though. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I've been it's been like the same old for me. I finally beat Alan Wake 2, and we're gonna talk about the ramifications on what that is, and you know how long it took, and you know the dedication it took, only for you know to be bamboozled and led astray. But what I'll say is that protect your peace, man, because sometimes there's bad actors out there.
Then there's people that want to put words in your mouth too.
And it's all about honor.
If you say so. But Alan Wake 2 has been beat, and I moved on to Jedi Survivor. I put 10 hours in there. I'm trying to be someone that play his games at this moment, and I've been enjoying streaming and just playing games. So I'm gonna continue to do that, and yeah, I mean, I just been chilling. So I did start to stream again. So if you guys actually want to check that out, I usually stream from 10:30 at night Eastern Standard Time to 1, 2, and 12 midnight. That's usually when I time me to go to bed. But yeah, that is what I've been doing. That's how I kind of been able to beat Alan Wake 2, because I just kind of dedicated some time to that and played it a lot or a little bit. So and I'm gonna go into that in a little bit about my Alan Wake 2, but outside of that, you know, the family's been great. They always, you know, good. It's just a everyday thing, one step at a time. These kids are getting smarter, faster, stronger, and they just are taking on any mannerisms that they see. They're doing my sciatica stretches with me now. It's just funny to watch them just mimic the mess out of you. And yeah, I'm not that old, but I do have a sciatica. And it's actually, the physical therapy is actually working. So I'm happy about that for sure. And it's not as bad as it used to be. And I can actually sit for long periods of time without having an issue. But man, when that junk first came, I don't know what the heck was going on. I was like, bro, how do you? I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to better my life, and then here come good old age. I'm like, bro, I'm not even that old, fam. So yeah, I'm happy to report that has been minimized. Physical therapy actually is helping. And yeah, I'm not even on any like pills or anything like that. I know I had like some anti-inflammatories, but that's gone too, people. So the boy is at the end of the recovery, which is great for me. I didn't need to have that on me. Still working on leaves in the yard. Sucks, doing the dad things around the house. And trying to figure out if I should just mulch the rest of them or pick them up. I'm sick of leaves. But we got the last drop of leaves now, so it's really just trying to finish up that last part and then wait and get starting the winter. But yeah, I've been chilling. Like I said, I've been playing a game. I got a decent amount of time in over the weekend. We were trying to play a little bit of Apex. Me and Jalen got a match or two in, which is, like I said, it's still a fun game. It's just got its issues, so we're gonna talk about that too. And we playing Overwatch, a lot of that too. And Magua was introduced. We didn't get a chance to play with him, but we're gonna talk a little bit about that as well. So we got a lot to talk about, and that's where I kind of wanted to start. So intros out the way. Anything else before we move into our first topic?
No, let's get going. We got a lot, especially with like the news.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna try to get my little Alan Wake 2 synopsis out the way so that everybody can know how I'm truly feeling about the game and where I stand at because we're gonna still circle back to that game of the year because we still ain't get a list from Jalen, so I still got to put that on the thing too. That game of the year list, because for somebody that don't play no games, we got to figure out what he looking at, what's got his eyes. So yeah, but Alan Wake 2 is everything everybody said it was. Very pretty game, technically advanced. It is a solid horror or survival horror. It has a good, compelling story. So it's nothing out of the norm that I'm going to say here. I'm just going to probably debate the game of the year tag. That's it, because I honestly enjoyed the game a lot, and I truly do think it elevated over Resident Evil 4 in a lot of ways because of just the story in itself. But I love Resident Evil 4 for certain reasons, and I loved Alan Wake 2 for certain reasons. And there's a lot of like perspective and thinking through like the whole storyline and understanding it and really enjoying the characters and trying to see what's going to happen next. It felt more it's extremely more polished than like an Evil Within, but it felt more Evil Within-ish because of how much of the like interstellar story within a story, worlds being built in the world that you're in kind of thing. More Silent Hill-esque, like like mind games types, the type of stuff. So I really enjoyed it. I really like the connecting worlds. I really like seeing a janitor again from Control a lot and kind of getting more backstory on him. The connectivity of it all made me feel like it was some type of big payoff from what I was seeing. The Federal Bureau of or the Control, from Control, they were in it too. So it just kind of tied it all together. My only, complaint about Alan Wake 2 is literally its gameplay. I felt it was a little too easy and a little too I could dismiss it. I think the fluidity of it, I think the actual mechanics of it were solid. It just didn't feel challenging enough to me. And maybe that's because I just wasn't playing on the hardest difficulty. But honestly, if I'm playing it on the normal difficulty that I'm normally associated with, like Resident Evil 4 was a lot harder, but I also played it on the hardest difficulty. I already played the game before. So I was trying to challenge myself with Resident Evil 4 because I already knew how the game was going to go. And I just wanted to play it on a harder difficulty to give myself a challenge. This here, if I'm going to play it on the normal settings, like I felt like Resident Evil 4 on its normal settings when I first played it was difficult. This game, it just felt a little bit more entertaining and fun and enjoyable, but then it got to a point where it's a little bit repetitive and just a tad bit. Like it wasn't a lot. Like honestly, I want to stress this a lot because the world itself was so varied and fun to explore. It just felt like it was being too much, too cumbersome to go explore, especially in Alan Wake's world. Not in Saga. Sagas felt like a traditional Resident Evil 4 experience. Alan Wake's felt more evil within, but not super mechanically sound. It was just too many unknowns out there. Like obviously Alan Wake, and it's not a spoiler, but he's being like haunted by shadows, but some of these shadows don't exist in the world and they don't actually manifest in your world. So if you try to attack them, they may not be an actual shadow that you needed to fight. And it's just so much of that in his open world that it felt a little bit daunting to try to go out and explore. It just felt like I was wasting my time fighting things that was not perceiving things as threats when they weren't. And maybe that is a play on his world in general, like perceiving things that are threats that are not, and they want you to feel that way as he felt. But in the end, it just made me feel a little bit less engaged and skipping everything. Like I was skipping all fights because I just was like, I don't have to fight you. I'm not finna deal with this, and I don't want to continue to like try to pick and choose who I'm fighting against because the shadow next to me might not be a real person, but he might throw me down on the ground, and I have to still entertain everything. And I just felt like it was a little too much and a little less. It was a little less. It was not enough threatening, but just too much overwhelming to the point where I just felt like it was skippable. So that was my biggest gripe. And like I said, Saga's was not like that at all because she didn't have that in hers. She just had the traditional, difficult, maybe experiences and stuff like that where you may have fighting multiple enemies. But I do not want you guys take away from this that this is a bad game, because it's not. It's a really good game. It has really cool sequences, and I quite enjoyed a lot of what I played. So what I will say though is I am enjoying, which we're going to talk about that too, but I am enjoying another game even more. And before I even mention what that is, I want to continue to stay on Alan Wake for a little bit. So a lot of talk around Game of the Year for Alan Wake, and I can see where that comes from. As Josh kind of mentioned, and you said it better, but I don't know if you remember it, but what you kind of said about your analogy and what you brought to the table when you kind of sent it to the chat, if you want to like explain that a little bit, what you stated, and what you what parallel you kind of put it up against.
What, that Alan Wake is Kingdom Hearts?
Correct. Explain yourself.
It's adult Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, because I have to find the list, but all the Remedy games are connected in the story, and the main idea is that Alan Wake wrote all their games. He wrote like in his world, and where he's like struggling with the shadows. He wrote Max Payne. He wrote, which I think Remedy doesn't technically own Max Payne, that they renamed him to something else. But anyways,
they
it's
actually
the same
just
character.
got it back. Well, no, they got Alan Wake. They got Alan Wake the first one. That's what they said. They bought Alan Wake, and that's why they was able to do the remaster. I don't know if they do Max Payne, but they said that they were doing 1 and 2. So maybe that was just a rumor floating around.
They don't own Max Payne, so they renamed him Alex Casey, which is the white guy with Saga.
That actually played Max Payne and brought his face
like
into the
his
game.
whole life and story and actor is Max Payne, but they just couldn't call him Max Payne. So that's Max Payne. Mm-hmm. And then Alan Wake, Control, Quantum Break, and then there's a TV show that are all connected in the story of Alan Wake. Alan Wake is trying to get away from the shadows, and so he's writing these characters to like help him out. So that was interesting. And then I was like actually reading into it and looking at the parallels where it does actually kind of line up, where Alan Wake 1 is like Kingdom Hearts 1, and then control is Kingdom Hearts 2 because you don't play as the main character for like a big portion of the game, and you switch to a different character. I mean, you not switch to a different character where it's like you think you are the main character in the game, but then the story reveals, oh, you're not actually the main character. There's somebody else, and you're just like not like their side character, but you're like helping out somebody else. So it was a lot of interesting stuff with like how this is a big interconnected world, and you I guess you don't. That's what I was going to ask you about. How much homework do you feel like you need to do? Because like personally, I don't know anything about Quantum Break or Max Payne, but also like after playing Alan Wake 1, I kind of feel like this is a big world, and they kind of expect you to like follow the story.
Honestly, they don't even bring in like large references. It's just like they're nice to know if you know, but they're not necessarily needed to follow the story of Alan Wake. They explain a lot within the game, and you can kind of go over the case that was introduced in Control, like the Alan Wake experiment, the AWE expansion. Mm-hmm. So you still are capable of playing Alan Wake 2 on its own without playing the other stuff. It's just more enjoyable if you have played the other stuff. That's it. Well, it's not even like it's a requirement. And that's that. Like I never played Alan Wake 1, right? But they told me enough about the first situation that occurred in this game that it made me feel like I played it, or at least had enough base knowledge to know what happened during the first go around 11 years ago, because they keep reference back into it. Like that was like a big part of it too. So do I think you need to do a homework? No. But I would recommend getting like a synopsis on like all the stories, but you don't really need to either. They do such a good job with how they do Saga that it did feel like Alan was like not an afterthought, but he was like, because you're playing Saga. Saga is the one that's introducing you to the world of Alan. Alan is just going through his world. So you obviously going to gravitate towards the person that is truly explaining and putting it together, right? That is like storytelling 101. You're probably going to go, you need someone to be in the perspective of the player. And then you need someone to be Alan. And obviously Alan is Alan. So Alan is just kind of going through his world, and after he has an understanding of what he has to do to get through it, Saga is trying to figure out and understand his world. So Saga has more of an informative, deep perspective, like informative perspective, and like a more so a story-driven, storytelling case board where she pieces all the clues together on what's happening. And you, through Saga's eyes, you see the impact of Alan. And it's really good. Like I said, it's a really good story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a lot of twists and turns. I felt like there's a lot of oh crap moments, and I just felt like it was a really good story. So if you're interested in like playing something for 15 hours, and I know you said, like I said, I mean, if people out there are interested in playing it for 15 hours, and unfortunately going through Epic, you can play Alan Wake 2, and I think a lot of people have the right idea of providing this to be the game of the year because it has the banger story and it has the most technically advanced graphics I've ever seen in a game. Period. To date.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, there's Cyberpunk's path tracing, and then there is Alan Wake's where I can run it at 30 FPS, and then there's still this beautiful looking playscape. Obviously, I decided to just play at 60, but when I did play at 30 for like 4 hours, the reflections, everything just popped. Everything felt grounded. Everything felt more immersive. And I never thought that lighting would really do that, but it does. It makes the world feel more real and grounded, and you don't get that shimmery effect, and you don't get those weird screen space reflections where you look at the camera, you change the camera, and everything messes up and changes while you're changing the camera and takes you out of the moment of the storytelling. So I really did enjoy the whole technical aspect of it, playing with it, tweaking as I'm playing the game, because I just thought it was so crazy good. So I understand where people can get Game of the Year.
I feel like Alan Wake is gonna win a lot of awards. You know, there's a lot of competition here, but I feel like this is gonna be one of the ones that leaves the biggest impression. Partly, it is the end of the year, and games that come out later usually do better, but also because, like I said, Alan Wake has a big connected story, and anybody who's been like interested in their other stuff, they have more like connection to the characters and the world and the overall plot that's been building over the last decade. And then, like I said,
still
on a technical level, level, it's good.
They still built a great character in Saga, and she's brand new. So not only do you pull in old characters for the nostalgic part, but you provide us a character that I like. She was my favorite part of the game. So to do that with someone you're introducing, new, and everybody, you know how people don't like when you get tricked into playing with somebody you may not want to play with, like. But I felt like she was the best part of the game at that point too. So it was dope. I'm going to say what my game is, and I need people to keep their little pitchforks in their pockets. But my contender right now, all the games I've played this year, and I played Legend of Zelda, I've played Dead Space, I played Resident Evil 4, I've played quite a bit of games, honestly. But I held off on playing one of the games that I was most anticipating this year, and it was Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I am literally playing that game right now, and honestly, all I want to do is keep playing that game. And it is something. It's just something about the Star Wars franchise, the ability to tell a great story, the level of design that they had to put into the forethought of not taking away my original powers and not making me double jump, and really they really had to make sense of why their upgrades were happening for Kyle and having the large sword and the gun blaster stance and changing of the stances. I haven't had this much fun with a video game in a minute, and the storytelling is there too. So, unfortunately, I would, if I had to pick a game of the year right now, I would still, unfortunately, have to go with Jedi Survivor. But, and this is a big but, Jedi Survivor is in like one of the worst states for PC gaming I've ever seen a game launch in. And Respawn my boys, but this is completely unacceptable. So even if I truly love this game by the end, and I praise it to no end, I would not recommend anybody else play it right now. And that's just sad, because I know people put in a lot of time. These cutscenes are phenomenal. This world is phenomenal. This artistic design, even the side quests, even the little things you do, the people you meet, the characters you build, and like bring back to, they provide you a hub where you can like go out and bring people back to this hub, and their stories continue, and you can still find them in the world, and they're doing stuff. And it just shows that the amount of detailed and like thought they put into everything. And even these large worlds you're exploring, maybe even one time for a mission, they just nobody else does it this scale, or a place you may not return back to. It's just, it feels like they put everything into this game, and for it to be a failure from a technical aspect, and that ruins everything, is so sad to see. Because yes, I can run it at max settings at a 60 locked and have a great time, but 89% of people can't. Probably more than that. So that tells me that it's a crapshoot. Like, even if Gotham Knights were to come out like that, it would still be a crapshoot. Like, if the game was the greatest game ever and it still came out in that state where most people couldn't play it, it just falls off of people's that game of the year list. So what I wanted to do with this time, because I'm still going to have game, if somebody had when I'm talking to the public and they asking me this question, I would say I'll wait too. But I wanted to give Jedi Survivor at least its moment, because it truly is a good game. I mean, if I had to recommend, if I could recommend, take the technical stuff aside, only run a game this year for people to play, it would still be that. Because I don't know, I like the Jedi, I liked it Fallen Order. I just think this one kind of exceeds expectations on the story side, on the world building side, and you can have a really good time just exploring this world. It really does feel like a evolution or a leap from, like, maybe even going from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 among these, where they kind of had the bigger sets, the bigger things, the bigger moments. And yeah, sometimes people get lost in just making it really, really pretty and not really playable. But it doesn't feel that way with this game. It feels very, very much so playable, enjoyable to play, and challenging at times when it comes to the higher difficulties and these enemies that you're facing, because it is kind of in that Soul-like-esque vibe where enemies come back when you rest and stuff like that, and you have a certain amount of recharge on health. So it's hitting all cylinders for me. Games I like, and mechanics I like. So yeah, I can, I can give it respect. I give respect where respect's due. So I just wanted to mention that, because if technical stuff was aside, that would for sure be the game of the year I'd be recommending. But unfortunately, when you launch in the state that it launched in, it just can't. You cannot put that on your list. I just feel bad for everybody that really put time and effort into it, and it kind of botched the launch.
I'll say, like, I respect you for, like, putting that disclaimer on it, but also, I'm not a paid reviewer. Deontay ain't got paid to review Jedi Survivor. So if you enjoyed the game, I think it is still fair to say, like, you enjoyed it. The game, it did come out in a bad place, and it had issues on console as well, where they had to, like, remove some ray tracing to get it to run right. But at the end of the day, if you still had a good experience with it, that doesn't, you don't have to say it's.
That was after 4 hours of tweaking. That was after, like, the last bump.
Oh yeah, you had experiences to like get it to run well. But it doesn't run well technically, but it's your favorite game, and I think that's still a fair argument.
I think the same thing happened with Cyberpunk with us, when we had a good experience because we was on, like, the new generation consoles, and everybody else had a bad experience. But I didn't care about the T-stance, and I didn't care about certain things. I just enjoyed the game for the great story and the world that it built. So yes, there is exceptions to that rule, but and you're right. I'm not a paid reviewer. I don't get paid for this. I'm just saying that my conscience is like, it's like the same way, where I feel like it's just like, I don't understand how because this is like, you understand how, like, something you can tell something was built around being a flagship for a company, or like even a the quality level in the production felt like this is something we want to present to the world as a game of the year. So then when you get that and you see what the potential was after you get through all the bull of bad optimization, CPU just not being right, and you're just not able to play the game constantly, because every time I load that game up, I still gotta wait 4 minutes for me to even get the optimized files before I can play the game. So it gets faster and faster if I play it daily, but it's still the same thing where it just constantly has to go through these checks and balances, get it to work right. And if I change a setting, I'm probably gonna have to restart the game. So I am omitting a lot of the problems because I know if it wasn't there, it would be my game of the year. So, I just don't want to, lead people astray like, oh, it's dope. I mean, it is dope. And I think you can get a good experience on the consoles. Just don't play it on PC. You can play on consoles. I mean, if you got a higher enough rig, yeah, you could push it to where it works right. But literally, you cannot change settings. So if you have a mid-range PC and you're trying to run it at max settings with at 1440p or 1080p, maybe you can get away with it, but maybe ray tracing is not just too much, and you can't tweak anything, turn it off to get it to you running 99% of utilization on your GPU because it is not optimized properly. Now it's running at 80 and you're only getting 45 frames per second. It's like, that is literally my case, like my use case. I can't turn off ray tracing to get more frames because all it does is drop my GPU utilization. So I have to max out everything for it to barker down on my GPU in order for it to get off my CPU, because it can't handle optimizing from the CPU's optimization because it's only on one core or whatever. It's just like that is unacceptable to me, and to a large degree. And that's why I've been like holding off on buying games like Lords of the Fallen. I held off on it because it just wasn't optimized properly when it launched. So I have become a stickler for that. But I know when a game's a good game. And that's a good goddamn game. It's just, it has too much controversy around it to me to recommend it to people. Like, go pick it up and try it so we can get this game to game of the year. I just can tell you that I had a great experience from how I was able to play it after I got past all the bull. So, accepting, the good with the bad is kind of like unfortunate, but that is a solid experience, and anybody that can participate in that right now, I think you'll have a great time. I just think it's overshadowed by a bunch of crap that honestly probably was out of the devs' control, but it could have been a lot better. So yeah, I wanted to give it some praise because I know it's not gonna get none at the game of the year because it was just poorly received. I'll be really surprised if it gets nominated for anything. But it deserves a nomination for definitely our environmental design. I think it definitely deserves something for storytelling. But and I'm not even like, I'm only halfway through it, and I am engaged like a mug. So I know I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to probably have a even better time or easier time talking through it and kind of having a conversation around it, because that's how good it is to me. But I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of again talk about that and get past it, because yeah, Alan Wake 2 is going to get a lot of praise, but I think that one is important to mention as well, to an extent too. So we're gonna talk about game of the year, but we're gonna probably get into some more topics before we do that. Anything on Jedi Survivor before we move on to the next? This next one's for Jalen.
I might have to go ahead and beat the first one so I can go play the second one. The way you made it sound so good.
I'm telling you, I think you'll have a good time. I think they are really good games, but you already know that. You played a little bit of the first one. I think you just stopped. But yeah, um, but yeah, they that that third one, that might be the one for real. But we'll see how I go. Cause I ain't even beat it. I'm talking about this cash money and I ain't even beat it yet, man. You talking about that cash money, you ain't even beat it yet? Listen, I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna beat it real soon. I'm telling you. From what I played, it definitely hits everything I'm looking for in a sequel and then some. So but yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about Modern Warfare 3 campaign. I don't want to introduce it. I want to let my boy Josh off the leash because he been holding back. He been biting his tongue for a little bit. He said, "I paid cash money for this game. Couldn't even play campaign." Early access. What? Early access? Who, Josh? So Josh been having a real tough go at it. But I'm gonna let him explain. But we gonna talk a little bit about Modern Warfare 3 campaign. So go ahead, Josh.
So speaking of PC issues, so
oh my goodness, yeah.
Last week, me and Deontay had Modern Warfare 3 pre-ordered, so you can play it early. I played Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2 recently over the last 2-3 weeks, and I really really like Modern Warfare 2019. It was a really good story. I feel like the characters were good, storytelling was good, the missions were fun. And even though it's short, it felt like everything was like, it wasn't bloated. Modern Warfare 2, unfortunately, I didn't like it as much because it felt bloated. Like the story didn't really go anywhere. There were no real stakes, like no main characters died or anything. The missions were long, like 20 to 40 minutes instead of like 10 to 15. It doesn't need to be this long, and I hope Modern Warfare 3 is better. Unfortunately, Modern Warfare 3, the impressions of it are a lot worse, but I didn't even get to play it because I pre-ordered it on Steam. And I load the game up. You load up the Call of Duty app, and it starts at like the main menu. So you select Modern Warfare 3, and it loads Modern Warfare 3. So it has to close the Call of Duty app and then open up Modern Warfare 3, and it'll crash. And I get the same error code, and I've tried a whole bunch of different things. So I then went onto Google to figure out what's going on. Oh, and this is a common issue with Call of Duty on PC, specifically AMD CPUs, that has existed for the last 3 Call of Duty games. And the solution is to try. It's a long list of 30 different different things that you can try, like go into your BIOS menu and turn this thing off, or delete this folder and re-download the game, or is like sign into OneDrive, and it's like all these different things. Like nobody actually knows what the issue is. Nobody knows what the issue is, but it keeps coming up. And I actually found, I guess, like somewhat the root of the issue, but at that point I was tired because it has something to do with like your CPU, not overclocking, but the CPU speed. And we're like, for some reason, when you launch the game, it's going to put a big hit on your CPU. And so, for example, if your CPU can do like 5.5 gigahertz or something like that, but it's only doing 5 instead of the full 5.5, it will crash because it didn't have enough CPU power. And for Intel, I guess you can just go into like the Intel app and just make a tweak, and that will fix the issue with no problem. On AMD CPUs, you can't use the Intel app, and the AMD one doesn't, I guess, give the same results. So the best thing to do is to turn off your XMP feature in your BIOS. But I was like, at that point I was tired because I had at that point on Steam, the Steam timer was an hour and 55 minutes, and I had been troubleshooting for like 5 hours, and I was tired, so I refunded the game and not getting it on PC, and I'm not playing it on PC. But I wasn't too sad because actually it turned out that the story is trash, and the story is trash. The characters are trash. The ending is a cliffhanger cliffhanger ending.
Goodness.
The missions, the open world missions that they were talking about, like, this is our new feature, are actually trash as well, because they're literally just copy and paste Warzone objectives. Like, you, instead of, Call of Duty games are linear. Like, if they got you driving in a car, you hop in a car, you can't really do anything. You just on rails and you shooting at people. It's like, okay, now we got an open world Call of Duty. This might be fun. But all they did was take the DMZ or like the Warzone map idea, drop you in the map, and now you're just wandering around, picking up guns, shooting at little AI enemies, and then you get to the next objective or next missions. This is lazy and it's not good. Charging a bunch of money for it, and it's worse because I'd say the other two Modern Warfare games had decent stories. Like, I didn't like 2 as much, but the story wasn't bad. The missions weren't bad; they're just bloated. And now we have bad missions and a bad story. So it's like, what's going on? Obviously, this was meant to be DLC, but you got to still put some effort into it. So that's my thoughts on Modern Warfare 3. Oh, and I'm gonna let y'all go into it too. But the review embargo, not review, but the embargo for zombies being lifted today, and people were talking about zombies. And zombies is open world zombies, but it's the same thing where the new Warzone map that they're coming out with in a couple weeks or whatever, zombies takes place on the new Warzone map. So it's literally just the DMZ mode that they had, where you drop into the space, you fight AI enemies, you go around, pick up guns. If you die, you lose the guns and stuff that you were carrying. And so instead of being like I would say a hand-tailored zombies map, we're going to play on a Warzone map with zombies. However, personally, I think it might still be okay because there's no PvP elements to it. It's only PvE, and there are other players that will be randomly be in there. So if you just want to, I guess, kind of do like a single player, like casual mode, it could be fun. But again, it feels like they're not putting real effort into the zombies mode that they used to put in, where they have like Danny Trejo and other celebrities in the zombies mode, and we're gonna have like an interesting story, and we're gonna make the rounds unique and stuff like that. So I'd say so far the game is seeming really disappointing with like the whole package. Yeah, that's my feelings
tough.
on Modern Warfare 3.
That is tough.
Y'all not doing a good job right now, man. Y'all ain't.
I mean, we locked in. I'm not getting it on PC, but I'm gonna get it on Xbox, and you're gonna get it on something else.
It's like
that being said, we ain't gotta love it. We ain't gotta say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but we all locked in. Day one.
Yeah,
it sounds like I'm getting a product that I'm paying too much for, huh?
Yep,
that is unfortunately that's what DLC sounds maps. Like. But yeah, yep. I think this
they literally took Warzone and like, this is the best thing we did in Call of Duty. You see how much they love Warzone? Let's put everything in Warzone. The campaign Warzone, the zombies Warzone, more Warzone. I can't get enough. Warzone for everything. You want Warzone? You got it. You want Warzone? Give them some.
Warzone. Give me some. He said, give me some. Give me some. Warzone.
What you want, my boy? Oh, you want what? Hey, y'all hear this dude? He don't know what he want. Get him Warzone. That's what he wants. Get him Warzone right now at breakneck speeds.
It come out in a couple days. I'm locked in, G. And I think that, I mean, obviously we got other stuff we can play, and I'm still going to try to play Apex Legends, but I think that the multiplayer is going to be okay. Now I'm mad that some of the things that I thought I was going to get my money's worth from are kind of sounding a little bit, Yeah,
so at this point, the only like saving grace for Modern Warfare 3 is the multiplayer. And personally, I'm looking forward to it because actually Modern Warfare 2, like the newer one, is not my favorite Call of Duty, but it's fun. Like I feel like Call of Duty has good bones. Like the structure is good, the guns are fun, the maps are so, but we're gonna get classic maps which are fun. So as long as the game works, like we boot it up, we connect to the servers and get in matches, I think I would be happy because the game is fun. It's just they're selling $70 to $100 DLC. That's kind of not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a tough one, you know. Like I said, I mean, I'm fine with continuing what's going on. It kind of sucks that you're not able to play on PC, and it kind of got me worried because I do have a whole AMD build, but I haven't had that issue. Honestly, I just been able to play it, but it could come out of nowhere, right, randomly, and it just becomes a problem, right?
Yeah, but I think at this point you would have to tweak it because I never played Warzone on Steam, so my hour time was under 2 hours, so I could refund it. But yeah, if it comes up, tweak.
Yeah, because mine is like 18 hours, so I'm done with like being able to refund any DLC more than likely. It's just more so, and I wouldn't want to play it on my PS5 anyway. So it's really I'm stuck with this. I'm gonna have to tweak. Uh, so okay, but yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing else that really can that I can think of that made me feel like Modern Warfare 3 is um it's an easy sell. I think it's a hard sell at this point. I think unfortunately with the amount of time and effort I've actually enjoyed playing just shipment and just being able to do mindless things in this game. So I'm still gonna have fun with it, and it's gonna really help me learn keyboard and mouse because I know this type of game is just too twitchy for me not to be able to get better at it. But it is gonna still be kind of split between Overwatch and Apex, and I don't want to feel like I'm neglecting the one I actually paid money for by playing the other ones that I kind of might enjoy more. But I think Call of Duty has a really good, as you stated, the multiplayer in the beta we played was actually fun. It's when you unleash the players on it and really let them play it is where it kind of gets muddy for me. I'm like, what are they going to be playing with? How are they going to be playing? And is this going to be fun? If they just unlocked a lot of stuff and let the world go crazy because they're balancing now on not one game of guns but two game of guns. That's what really worries me. So
Yeah, it's gonna have like 80 guns.
yeah, that's a lot. So it can be enjoyed, but it may be minimized of that enjoyment. So yeah. And I really don't think games right now should be that way, especially when I'm paying that much for it. So, but it's cool. It's cool. I don't want to.
Out of curiosity, oh, go ahead, Mama.
Go ahead.
Out of curiosity, why do y'all want to play this Call of Duty so much?
Because we have a gentleman's agreement that we're all locked in.
That's not what
together.
I'm talking about. That came after.
I mean, so like I said, I've always liked Call of Duty, but there are too many Call of Duty games, and a lot of the quality of them varies from year to year. Blah blah blah. What we played of the beta of Modern Warfare 3 was fun. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. The shooting still feels like some of the best in the industry. There are a lot of good competitors now, but Call of Duty still feels really good. The maps were redesigned and updated. They all look good. So really, it's just fun. That's the main thing. And I thought that I could also enjoy the single player, maybe a little bit of zombies, and enjoy it. So overall, I felt good about getting it. Now that the single player is not good and the zombies is it's up in the air, we got to see. It's really just leaning on I'm gonna play this multiplayer game with. And if y'all don't get it or if y'all don't play it, I can still at least have fun with playing the multiplayer. I've been playing Modern Warfare 2 and I enjoy it. Am I going to play it by myself for the next year? Probably not. But if y'all get it, I'll longer.
Yeah. My reasons are kind of aligned with Josh's. I played it. I was able to play it on my own and feel comfortable playing it, but I had a goal to achieve. If I am upset with how the game is going and my goals become a little bit less interesting, like I had a goal throughout this entire last month where I was trying to get the ghoulie weapon, and then I was trying to upgrade a bunch of weapons at the same time. I was trying to get that carryover experience. But during that time, I had fun dropping 30, dropping 50 in Call of Duty. I enjoyed that aspect of it. Granted, I didn't have everybody playing with me. I was just playing by myself, and it gave me some time to play it. And just kind of enjoy it for what it is. I don't think I need you guys to truly enjoy playing Call of Duty. Like, I'm pretty sure Sean's gonna get it, or some people I know that are gonna play the game that I can like hang out with if I want to play it. But at the same time, I know that most of the time I'm on the game, y'all on the game, and if y'all on the game, y'all probably gonna be seeing out what we playing. If you don't have Modern Warfare, it's probably gonna be us picking between a free game like Overwatch or Apex. So then it becomes, okay, I just paid all this money for this game, but I'm not playing it. So now I have to play it on my own time. And now I'm playing multiple shooters when one should be given my time. So this was a dedicated, this was a dedicated moment of spending money on a certain game to get us all access to the said game. So not only now is it feeling more and more like more of a chore to buy than to have fun with, but it started as to have fun with. That's what it started as. It started to be a fun game to play with y'all and enjoy, because y'all actually like the Modern Warfare 2 maps that could probably provide more play time than normal for a standard Call of Duty game, and all we are doing is shooting a, we're just talking while we play anyway. But I get that Jalen needs sometimes more than that. He kind of doesn't have he needs objective, and if his objective is mindless because he doesn't care about most of it, it becomes a chore to play. So I do think that we should reevaluate. Hopefully Josh didn't buy, because I already bought it, right? I know I have to have it, and I'm okay with just having it. But I know Jalen. And
so what I was gonna say, that one issue that we have at playing together is that we don't have a casual mindless game that we can play. Because we play Overwatch, and I like Overwatch. Overwatch is very fun. However, Overwatch requires 100% attention, and it requires everybody to constantly think about getting better and changing your strategy and trying a new character. So you just can't jump on the game and play it again. Whereas Call of Duty and others, right now I don't think it's any shooters out that you can just play mindlessly. Maybe
no,
Apex,
you can't do it with Apex. You can't do it with, even if it's so team oriented that it's not fun unless everybody is engaged in entertaining it. Whereas in Call of Duty, if Jalen on the phone texting or whatever, I don't care, because I'm still dropping bodies. It's not like it's gonna need him to take this hard point, but when you get on the game, okay, come with me to this hard point. So I get that aspect of it too, where we play a lot of games where it takes a lot, and I'm sitting here trying to get better with McCree, and it makes me annoyed that I'm not that great. So now I get tired of it after the first amount of games I'm not winning. So Call of Duty, I've never gotten tired of it because I don't care. It just was I'm playing it because I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting the things that I still want out of it. So do you get that, Jalen? That sometimes it's fulfilling in its own right, where you don't have to pay attention too much. I understand you need objective audit most of the time, but I guess where you do get what we're saying like that from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I was just curious why y'all, was pressing so hard for the game, especially,
Well, Josh has sometimes he has mirror, and I'm pretty sure you sometimes you just got other stuff you got to do, and maybe these like smaller quick hits are better off than that. But from our perspective, if you're trying to ask us from what I know from what I wanted, why I wanted to play it, was that I thought Modern Warfare 3 was the best Call of Duty. That's first and foremost. Second, I enjoyed a lot about the beta. So I enjoyed the movement. I enjoyed the perks. I enjoyed the maps, and I know that they were Modern Warfare 2 maps, but I enjoyed those maps as well. They felt a lot more straightforward and enjoyable, and you only can get better as you play it. And honestly, I kind of figured out Call of Duty, not to a degree to the point where I'm like super good, but I figured it out as in like how to actually win fights, even though it's a twitchy game and everything is super fast paced and like all that good jazz. But there's a plenty of loadouts that I enjoy. There's matchups and different things that I can like play around with to get better and to like make my loadouts fun and enjoyable. And there's a lot of weird, quirky things you can do in the game that I thought was intriguing. So those are the reasons why I was buying it, truly for the multiplayer. But I was hoping the things around it would make me feel more fulfilled with my purchase. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But I'm still fulfilled with the core thing that I was going to buy anyway. Because what I played of it, they really can't mess that up. Only the community can right now. And that is my worry. So, yeah.
I'll be honest, if y'all are aware with, I just need like a brain dead game where we can just, like spend some time, to play the game with each other and not be as intensive and still find enjoyment out of it. Y'all would have sold me right there with that. That's all y'all had to say. I'm like, y'all got y'all kids and all that type of stuff, all that other stuff. I'll be like, all right, well, I mean, that's cool. But if that's part of the reason, then I easily go buy the game. I could go spend $70 for a game.
But
go play a game with y'all.
Well, we kind of. Well, I know Josh at least mentioned it already before. He was like, "I can't play Overwatch because I can play Call of Duty though," and that's why I was like, yeah, that makes sense because you don't really have to pay attention. So it's just like those little moments where you kind of like, you really don't want to.
It's the only game that's not going to kick you in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's just like those games are super competitive for a reason. They're fun and high, concentration, but. I like having those other games that I know we can fall back on for a little bit of enjoyment, especially like a zombies mode or something like that. Like I still, after playing it for a little bit, I like Warzone. I don't like it a lot, but it has like elements that I enjoy out of it and sticking together and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of everything in this like mode, but if I'm playing Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer, I feel like I can understand a little Warzone a little bit better and like carry all that stuff over. But obviously that stuff don't matter to you, so I'm just telling you that simply sometimes those brain dead games are fun. But
yeah, I mean, it's cool to be brain dead, but I mean, again, if it's to help benefit y'all and y'all experience y'all with having kids and stuff like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, overall for me, the campaign, and I kind of want to leave it at that. The campaign for me at this point, I'm only 2 hours in. I thought it was interesting. I don't play open missions on this game at all, so I don't really know what is being reused for what it's worth. So I really don't have much to talk about. I was running around like I was playing a multiplayer match and just killing everything. And I thought it was super fun and hilarious because It just did not. It broke me out of the element of having to be in a linear path, and I thought it was enjoyable. I was parachuting around the map, going to objectives. I thought it was interesting and intriguing. But I understand if people are used to a certain thing and you already had that experience elsewhere, like Spec Ops missions or whatever, it kind of feels like a slap in the face. So, I am going to reserve my comments to the very end of it, which I only probably got like 2 hours left. And probably at that point, I'm probably going to agree with you guys because that is way too short, way too small, and for you to feel like you're not actually getting truly catered or curated missions, that is definitely a slap in the face. So, but overall, we're still gonna buy it. I mean, I'm still gonna buy it and go from there. So we can have something to play with that, especially when it comes to multiplayer. But I'm pretty sure we either did a good job of convincing y'all not to buy it, or convincing y'all that it may be okay to play at some point down the line. Because that was an interesting conversation because it just.
Well, I mean, I don't think Activision needs help with selling Call of Duty.
They don't need the help at all. They don't need it. They got the monies, they got the books, they got the everything. So
yeah, but I guess we talked a lot about Call of Duty. I want to quickly go over the Overwatch stuff from BlizzCon. Just because that is a game we all play and enjoy, and they showed a lot. They talk about all their games like at BlizzCon, like Diablo and stuff like that. But specifically for Overwatch, they talk about season 8, 9, 10, and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, like the next 5 seasons, they show a little bit of content. The first one is I don't know how to say his name, Magua. He's the
Magua.
Yeah, Polynesian Overwatch hero. He's another tank. Has 2 miniguns strapped to his arms, and he can Reinhardt charge around the level. He seems interesting, like a very oppressive tank as far as like his concept. I was thinking he was going to be another Orisa, which I know is going to make people mad because y'all hate Orisa. But very oppressive in your face tank. And he can still be that, but it seems that his place in the meta is kind of I don't know. It's not settled yet, but people are not liking place in the meta because he's big. He has a big hitbox. He requires a lot of healing to keep him effective. Kind of like Orisa. Orisa needs her team around, but Orisa has a lot of like defensive abilities, like a little javelin spin thing. Magua doesn't really have that. He has the Reinhardt charge, but it's kind of predictable. He's not that fast. He doesn't have any other like movement abilities or things like that. So I think they might still change him because he doesn't actually come out until next season, and this season is still going for like another month or so. So they might tweak him, and when he actually comes out, he might be a lot stronger and more oppressive. But overall, I'd like to see another oppressive tank. I feel like the tank meta is kind of stale, where you get like a Zarya who's really good, and it's just annoying to fight against her all. So after that, I don't know what season the hero's coming out, but the next 2 are supports. One of them is like I don't know how to describe it, but like Diglett. That's what people were saying. But anyways, it's a character, has like a machine gun, and they also heal. But their main gimmick is that they can like crawl underground. Like they jump into the ground, they dig a hole, and they go around the ground. I don't know how long they can stay there. But anyways, they'll pop up out of the ground, heal you, and then go back down into the. So I think that's an interesting like support because a lot of supports don't have good movement options other than like Lucio. So that'd be good because personally I don't like playing obviously Zenyatta, but like some of the supports are really good, but they don't have movement. And when there's a Sombra like chasing you all the time, it gets annoying because you don't have any way to defend yourself. If they catch you off guard. The next thing they revealed was a lot of maps. They bring back Hanamura, but they're going to change. It's a 2-point capture. They're going to change the game mode, but it's still going to be that environment, but a different game mode. So that's cool. Get a bunch of new maps. And the last hero is going to be a season 12. They haven't revealed a lot about them other than how they look. And they kind of look like a Mega Man character with like a helmet and a spacesuit and like an arm cannon, stuff like that. They seem cool, but it's another healer, but they haven't said type of abilities they're going to have. So, all that being said, I think it's cool that they showed so much because Overwatch can sometimes feel stale, and I think that since they've switched over to a live service model, they have to keep the excitement up for the game, keep people interested. So, also they're gonna have instead of gold weapons for competitive, they're gonna release some new weapon skins for competitive, like emerald or like diamond and stuff like that. So, if at any point people are interested in playing competitive, you'll have some new unique rewards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So it was a pretty decent BlizzCon, you would say?
Oh, I didn't see the whole thing, but for Overwatch, yeah, it was a decent rollout. I'm excited about the new characters, so we'll see how they come out.
Okay. All right. Well, I know at least from my standpoint, I mean, obviously I'm not the greatest. I just thought he looked okay. He looked really cool. I thought some of his moves were cool, but as you stated, a lot of people were saying he's getting melted. So I'm looking for reworks. I'm looking forward to seeing what they actually do with him. But overall, right now, I was kind of excited. I thought he had some interesting techniques. So I'll leave it at that. I was the only person I've seen. I didn't see any of the other stuff you mentioned. So, but yeah. Overwatch is, getting their stuff. They're still getting stuff for it. Hopefully that it gets more excitement around it, because it is one of my favorite shooters. It wasn't for a very long time, but it is one of my favorite team shooters now. So yeah, hopefully it continues to get elevated in that light. Any thoughts on Overwatch 2, Jalen?
I'm just happy to hear that you like that game a lot.
I didn't say a lot. I said it's one of my favorite. Yeah, I guess I did say it. Never mind. Favorite hero shooters. It is.
I heard it first. We got that.
Y'all heard it here first. Okay, so let's move on to some other interesting fun.
Stop playing Soldier.
Say that again.
It seemed like you started liking it when you stopped playing Soldier.
I was never playing Soldier. I don't think I was playing Soldier to a large extent. I definitely was playing Widowmaker a lot, and I was playing May, but not Soldier. Soldier was very much so. He was the generic character that could just run. But let's move on. We got 3 other topics I want to cover before we get out of here. First one, Ubisoft lays off 124 employees to enhance collective efficiency. I have no idea what that means. But basically, a couple of, I think they closed like the mobile studio, a closure like the Ubisoft London. They had some layoffs in May, but they just released like 124 more people. And 98 of them being in Canada. They were actually up year over year, quarterly, or their net bookings. So I really don't understand. They were up 36.6% year over year from the crew. Maybe it wasn't enough, but yeah, to lay off 184 people and then say that is due to enhanced collective efficiency. That doesn't make any sense to me. But what I do know is that the entire market, the entire gaming community has been laying off people left and right. And this is just more of the same, unfortunately, where people are being removed and displaced from their positions. And it's unfortunate because I feel like these companies actually do have the money and the equity to kind of keep these people on board. It's just them trying to skinny off the top while everybody else is doing it. I think that is kind of what it doesn't make any sense to be anything other than that. But yeah, man. I mean, more layoffs, more problems. I really don't. I really hope that they. I never thought Ubisoft was in a bad position. They have so many live service games. They love that live service model where they continue to build on old games. I think they're still doing updates for Honor. I feel that they definitely still doing updates for Rainbow Six. And they love to keep a game going longer than it needs to be. So I don't really see them having an issue maintaining profit because they're not like launching new IPs. They're just rehashing DLC and providing on content that they already built. Not that hard to deal with something after it's been built. So, at least in my opinion, I mean, I'm not a game developer. I'm just saying that they have a model and it seems to be working. Ubisoft, I thought, fell off the planet, and they still around. So, they still making Mario Rapids. They're still doing their thing in other areas. They got Avatar coming out. Far Cry 6 probably did really well for them. And they obviously said the Crew Motorfest did well for them in this quarter, or last quarter. So I mean, I really don't see them having a problem holding on to 124. So it's weird. It's a little weird, man. Comes off the heel of Bungie doing the same thing recently, and it's Bungie getting a significant amount of backlash. I seen even earlier that The Escapist and like people were just quitting from their publication because of like people being let go. So it's in the water, man. Something in the water. Y'all stay safe out there if y'all work in these gaming. If you work for corporate America in general, be safe out there. Cause ain't nobody safe. Your Christmas can be ruined. So just I don't know. I ain't got no advice for you, but get your LinkedIn stuff ready. What really surprised me was the Escapist people just saying they wanted to resign, not signing an NDA, and I like something big finna happen, or at least something finna come out about that whole situation. Like, I've never seen people be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna sign no NDA. I'm not getting that severance package. I want to talk. I want to talk about what happened to me." It's interesting. So we'll see what happens from that. I wasn't the biggest Escapist fan. I think Josh subscribed to them on my YouTube channel a while ago. I never took them off. So I used to watch. It was only one I used to watch a lot, and I think it was the one with the yellow screen. I forget the name of it. It was like
Zero Punctuation.
Yeah, that was the one.
The creator, he's like their biggest content creator for that website. He was, exclusive to their platform for a long time. But he was the biggest one to quit. Because they laid off people. But yeah, he was like, I'm resigning, and I don't own the rights to this, Zero Punctuation, but I'm gonna make something else. But him willingly leaving, thing that he's been working on, for a decade. Yeah, there's something going on at the Escapist. Everybody, they leaving together.
Yeah, they are, which is crazy. So, yeah, we're gonna come out. Something will come out. We're gonna figure out what's going on there. But I just wanted to mention that Ubisoft is still being Ubisoft. But everybody is doing it. So them doing their extra little amount. Not only is it 124 people here, they laid off a lot of people earlier in the year, and closed down a couple of studios. So this is not their first hit. Epic Games, little joy there. Epic Games Store still isn't profitable. Nearly 5 years after launch. That means that all them exclusives they were buying, it just ain't helping. Dead Island 2. Alan Wake 2. I know it was a few others. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. It just ain't working. They do give out a lot of free games, but to entice people to come over, and they have been stealing the rights to games for the last 5 years, and it just ain't working. They're still not profitable, and a lot of gamers are rejoicing because they find that their practices are terrible on PC. Um, honestly, I kind of feel like if they're paying for it, they can do whatever they want. But at the same time, I know that that's a problematic statement. Um, it's kind of to feel the same way of Sony and what they do. Like they paying for it, whatever. Like Final Fantasy 16 to me was a dud, but they paid for it. So they have it on their platform. And I had to purchase that platform to play it. Epic Game Store is just another store. It's not. I don't know. I look at it differently because I'm just joining into the PC gaming. I don't have any like loyalty to Steam, but I know who is making the best experience for me on PC right now, and that is Steam. So I don't have any loyalty to them, but I know who is creating the tools necessary for me to succeed on PC gaming, right? Where I'm able to go from handheld to PC and transition and Steam Cloud saves and being able to pick up a game where I left off at and not feeling worried about my games not being there or something like that. That's something that I value. And it's something that is even for making me want to repurchase games I have on Epic Game Store to play on Steam because of integration. So I get people being concerned about that, and I get people having rejoicing about them not being able to turn a profit because can't turn a profit. I don't know what you're doing. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Epic Game Store? I know you've been even holding off on buying games because of this whole thing too. So what's your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, I don't really use the Epic Game Store for anything. I have a couple games on there that I got for free that I haven't played. Like I wanted to play Death Stranding. And I will probably play it. It's just when it comes to PC space and especially anything non-Steam, these other stores change so much, and it's just you won't have a good user experience. Like I own games on EA, I own games on Uplay, I own games on Blizzard, and most of them are trash. Blizzard has been okay, but like EA has like they completely got rid of the old app, and then you got to download the new app. But then some games don't work or they work weird. Where it's like you launch the game and it launches the old app and then switches back to the new app. And so it's like with the Call of Duty thing, I hate on PC having to deal with all these different systems working together when I just want to launch the EXE, start the game and play it. And Steam really is the best place for that. And even when you still have to, like you buy a Ubisoft game on Steam, you still got to go through Ubisoft. Personally, I wouldn't do that, but at least having your library in one place where you have a consistent user experience that won't be trash in 2 years, then that's why I stick to Steam. For example, if I don't think Epic's going anywhere, but if they make a change to the store where it's like, oh, these games are going to be delisted, or the store is going to switch over to a new app, and your experience might not be the same. It's like that's just annoying, and I don't want to have to do it. So nothing personally against the Epic Store, but it's more about the non-Steam, unproven stores that everywhere in the wild on people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is a good testament, especially when it comes to like longevity. Once you own a game on PC, you own it forever, and like whatever happens, that it's going to be with you for the period of that time, because it's like basically for your lifetime, because it's not going anywhere. And I only have that built-in trust because of Steam at this point. I don't have it with other companies. So again, it's not that I have any grievances towards these other plans that for doing these things, but I want to make sure my digital purchases are secure, and I get that there's a lot of trust to be built there, and a lot of people just not not going for it. So, interesting stuff. But in my opinion, I think Epic Game Store having exclusives to me isn't like the biggest problem. It is more so.
Uh,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think with Epic it became annoying because they are willing to just throw a bunch of money for exclusivity, and it's just to literally just to stop it from being on other platforms. So it's not that like I don't think they pay for it. They pay for some of it, so that makes sense. And Sony, they pay for some of Final Fantasy, but like also when Sony does like we have the exclusive Hawk Moon for a year to Destiny, like that really is just like who does that benefit? Are you making extra sales off this or anything like that? Or you just want to keep people on other platforms from having a good time because they are not on your platform.
Right.
And so when it comes to like overly aggressive, like we're gonna get every single exclusive, then that I guess it might put a bad taste in some because that's like I don't know if it's anti-consumer, but it's just like business practices. They're like, why are you so aggressive?
Yeah. No, and like I said, there's good practices, bad practices, and then there's just it's just business. I think that falls within that just business, but bad practice as well. A little bit more than good practice because even if you are gaining the rights to that game for a certain period of time, your platform still has to show why it's worthy of me to buy it on it. I think they're lacking in that, or they're just buying stuff. They're lacking in the actual showing that this is a worthy store to use and want to have games on. Like you're throwing me a lot of free games, but what are you doing to make me feel comfortable with this store in general? And they're not doing a lot.
Yeah.
So understanding that is I understand that for sure.
Speaking of Epic, Fortnite was breaking records this week. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yeah. Can't get away without mentioning Fortnite.
I mean, this is not gonna be praise for me, but it is breaking records that they're doing a OG season. So for 1 month, they're bringing back the first like the first year or two of Fortnite. They're gonna have the map from year one, with Loot Lake and stuff like that. The battle pass with some remix items. So pretty much everything that you would get from the first year or so of Fortnite. And a lot of people are happy about it because I personally don't get it. I think that Fortnite has improved, and having less mechanics and worse, like less interesting map or something like that is not as fun. But a lot of people like it, and so they had 45 million players in one day for Fortnite. Yeah, and that's the biggest day ever that they had in 6 years.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It was insane. I did not know. I knew the reach of Fortnite. I just didn't know that even older people were still interested in Fortnite in that degree. I understand that, like, we didn't really make those memories in Fortnite because we never got into it. We were too busy with like Destiny, and then it switched to Apex once we found a battle royale that we could actually enjoy. Loot Lake, I remember it. I remember dropping in there. I remember being in that little cave at the bottom. But it never was nostalgic for me, and nor was it like something that I was like, "Oh, this is really cool. Were we dropping, boys?" Like, no, none of that stuff really hit for me. So it was kind of like, no, I'm not. I'm straight. But I understand that there is a huge market out there for Fortnite, and I really appreciate when people, because that is one thing about Epic. They're going to keep reinventing themselves, and they're going to keep making sure that they are catering to the core audience, and not even just their core audience, even more of that audience. And like, they're going to provide you as much as they possibly can in the experience that you want in their world, which I think is really dope. And I think that their concept of large battle royale is probably the most reformed out of all of the other ones. Like Apex launched with all of their iterations and changes in mind. They obviously created more verticality and things like that along the way, but really the fundamentals of that game is still the same. Versus Fortnite, if I go back and play that game now versus what it looks like probably with the OG map, it's like gonna be a significantly different game. And that's not just on a graphical level, it's like literally mechanics. So that is something I appreciate when the companies do that. And no, I think that they are best in class on reinventing the wheel, especially when it comes to like marketing, budgeting, understanding what people are looking for within a game, understanding what people enjoy from your game, and catering to that. So all dope stuff for real. But 45 million people one day is insane. People can't barely get 200,000 people in their game. But 45 million? Yeah, that is a lot. So hats off to them. Their servers didn't even break down, which is crazy to me. So it just shows you the true value of a solid product, and the true value of like having a real solid bones of a game. Like they never thought Fortnite would be where it was at when they first put it out. But the solidness of it and them being able to pivot is what got them to where they are. Like they are not stagnant. Like that game launched as a survival or a survival builder, like Minecraft. It switched gears immediately when they saw PUBG came out with that. And they said, oh, nah, it's time for us to switch it to a battle royale. And they did it. And they kept fixing it and making it better and making it fun and making it enjoyable. And that's all they had to do. So I'm cool. I'm cool with praising them when it's definitely warranted. And this is probably something that's never going to be replicated for a very long time in any type of gaming platform. So that is what Fortnite holds, and that's the power that they wield. So for sure, give them their flowers. Anything on Fortnite, Jalen? You dropping Tilted Towers with some Chief Keef playing? That's how it used to be, right?
Yeah, bro, that game can stay right where it's at.
You ain't like dropping the Tilted Towers. You used to love Tilted Towers.
I used to go there and get scraped.
Yeah, but you say you still dropping Tilted.
Great scrape. I rate 8.
That didn't stop you from dropping Tilted. But yeah. Well, okay. I think the last topic I wanted to cover off on was Zelda. So Zelda remake. Zelda is getting a live action movie. I don't think we need it. And if they was gonna do one, I would have hoped they would have did it animated. But they're not. So what they're doing, and this was news shared in the official post, the Nintendo investors. The film is being produced by Nintendo Shigeru Miyamoto and Avi Arad, chairman of Arad Productions and former founder and CEO of Marvel Studios. He's been accredited to things like Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, Far From Home, and Homecoming. Obviously, he was Spider-Man. I don't know how I feel about a live action Zelda. I don't know. I'm not hating on it because I ain't seen nothing about it. But most of the time they don't get it right, and it doesn't feel properly adapted to the big screen. Obviously this is going to be a huge maker for them, but this is not Mario. To me, Mario has a lot more staying power and like a lot more it's a lot more recognizable, right? And I think they were smart in making the animated version, because you're not tying them to a real life human. What are your thoughts on tying these characters to real life humans? Like everybody hated because Chris Pratt was even voicing him Mario. Imagine Chris Pratt playing Mario. Like, what does that blowback look like? And do you think they can succeed with Zelda?
Then no, I think if it's just like a generic, I'll put it this way: when they want to make a simple or generic like fantasy story, I think Zelda has a lot of similarities to like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. So it's definitely doable. A lot of people like fantasy, like uh, Game of Thrones. With it being Zelda and having being tied to the game, I think that's where it's going to be able to struggle. People are not going to like Link. People are not going to, or not everybody's going to be able to agree on who should play Link, who should play Zelda, who should play Ganondorf. They're not going to all agree on like the combat and weapons, special effects. So I think it's going to be a hard sell for a lot of people. Personally, I'm not interested in it. If it was like an animated movie, you know, at least that way I feel like, oh yeah, their final boss fight against, you know, Calamity Ganon or whatever is going to be tight because they're going to be able to do it animated. Or it's like, oh, if it's live action, now you got to worry about mixing the live action with the real people.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy Chalamet be Link, or they're gonna have Tom Holland be Link. It's like Tom Holland, you young and you know you got the young face, but I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just a hard sell. One thing I was confused about is like they say live action, but it's real confusing about what live action means. They called the Lion King live action. It wasn't no real lion in that movie. It might still be CG, just realistic looking, but
yeah, I think it's just like I think it's just like shooting yourself in the foot. He's a mute protagonist. I just don't see giving him a voice would help. But I mean, they did it for Mario and it worked. But Mario at least has some word formats that is recognizable versus Link is just grunts. So, and this ain't no Witcher. So I don't know.
I mean, he's just gonna be a generic anime protagonist. I'm gonna get you. You know, whatever anime character you can think of. That's just the voice they're gonna give him. Because Link, he doesn't have a voice, but the main point is that he doesn't have a point he's the hero, but he doesn't have any say in the story. He's just, you know, he's doing what people.
Yeah.
So that's just a generic, you know, hero character. We'll see. It's probably real far away, and it might not even.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo is specifically Miyamoto. He's real like picky and strict, and a lot of ideas that y'all don't like about Nintendo come directly from him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys, you know, getting to this part of the show. We talked about a lot. I mean, we still have some other things that we could talk about, especially about that PS5 Slim not being so slim. It's still fat and stupid and awkward looking. I don't understand what they did there. But they definitely are making more money on it for sure. But there's other stuff we could talk about, but we're going to kind of cut it here. And we're going to see you guys next week. But if you got to this part of the show, you're the real OG as always. I want to thank you for listening. Don't forget to rate us. Help us on these SEO and getting our name out there. We appreciate all that you do. People that come back and listen, I thank you. If you want to check this out on YouTube, you can check it out at the BCD Universe page. If you want to see me streaming, you can check me out on the BCD Universe page. On my Twitch or YouTube, wherever I've streamed to both. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Anything y'all want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Want you, Jalen? Oh, you ain't even get to speak about your
Sea of Stars. That's what he showed, didn't?
Really, to Sea of Stars.
He didn't.
It's better than Chrono Trigger, according to Jalen. You heard it here first. That's take it up with him, not us.
Yeah. Nah, he got that Chrono Trigger. He got that. Yeah, but we go at some point. We gonna freaking let him talk about Sea of Stars. I keep forgetting, and I don't. I run too much out of time. So I think we gotta do that at the top of the hour. Give a good synopsis.
Yeah, it was a Call of Duty episode, but
yeah,
we got y'all
next week. We gonna finally, Jalen gonna give us that Sea of Stars review we all looking forward to. Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z. No, I'm just playing. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.